Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I'm here with day number 8 of the Remember Today process videos. So I'm going to do page number 8 today for you. This is a super fun one, and like I said, I've said it every time. I'm just taking you along as I assemble the Cut Above kit. I'm going to make just slight tweaks along the way and maybe talk a little bit about my photo selection. So let me put you down onto my desk here and let's get started. Sorry, I just flipped my cameras there. Okay, so we've got the Cut Above layout kit. This is page number 8, Reach for the Stars. And I've been telling you all along the way that I am creating this calendar for my mother-in-law. So they are mostly pictures of my kids. So as soon as I saw the title, Reach for the Stars, I knew what photos I was going to pick. So I think I've mentioned it before in a past video. My husband and son in August took a trip to the West Coast. And one of the things I promised him after such a bad year last year, with him being basically trapped inside our house 100% of the time, was that he's always wanted to skydive ever since. So I'm just going to start moving pieces around to and add my photos onto their mats while I keep talking. He has wanted to skydive ever since we took a trip to Arizona, and they did reverse skydiving. So they went into like an air chamber, and it pushes you up, and it's the sensation of skydiving, but basically you're not falling from the air. So I think he was 10 when we did that trip. So I've just trimmed my photo slightly for 1/8 of an inch. So ever since then, though, he has wanted to go skydiving. So this trip to the West Coast was called Max's Grand Adventure, and that was one of the things he actually got to do on the West Coast. He unfortunately or fortunately loved it. It was beautiful. I don't know if you can actually see in this photograph, but we live in the prairies right in the middle of the country. So he was originally going to do it here, and then they started to plan their trip to the coast. And he came to me and asked me if he could do it there. He thought that the scenery of jumping when you're on the edge of the ocean would be absolutely beautiful. So the scenery was beautiful. So that's why I picked these photos for this layout. Okay, so this was just like the pre-learn your equipment. This was him meeting his tandem jump partner. And then this is him actually falling out of the airplane. Okay, so I'm just going to add these onto this white piece, which is exactly the same as the photograph. For this layout, I am keeping everything pretty much the same. I'm just going to add some extra embellishments. So I thought I would just tack this all down. Well, I told you that little story. So he is quite tall. He's about 6'1" now. And he said the hardest part was actually jimmying his legs out of the airplane. Said that was the hardest part of the whole thing. Okay, so I have my three photographs matted and then on this long piece. So all the pieces are marked. So this is for page 8. So I'm just going to lay this here for 1 second. Actually, I might as well just adhere this down. and then we'll punch out the pieces and look at our stickers. So like I said, I'm not changing very much of this. I am just going to add a few extra embellishments. So I grabbed some of my mink twine to add to the tag. I have some black bursts here, which I thought would be super cute on this layout. And then I'm going to add bitty sparkles on top of that. So this is my sticker sheet here. So I'll just pull the back up to make it a little bit easier to get my stickers off. So there we go. And then we will punch out our pieces and kind of just lay them where they're going to go. So I'm going to add twine to that piece. This creates like a faux pocket here for journaling. My mother-in-law, I knew I had to give her some photos from this adventure, even though she didn't want to know about it. She was happy to not hear about it until after they got home from their trip, or she said she would have worried the whole time. She said she was happy that he thought it was fun and that he was safe. So I'm just placing the pieces where they kind of belong. We are going to add that photo piece in first, and then everything else should kind of just fall into place. One star at the top and one star down here at the bottom. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to add this photo block in, and then everything should kind of just fall into place around it. So they're saying one and a quarter from the side, and 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5, and 1.25. So right about here. There we go. So now I'm going to add these yellow, the lemonade strips to the top and the bottom of this photo collage. So here is one of those examples, right, where you can see that by adding this, you're not adding a ton of layers to the cut above kit, because you don't want the calendar to get crazy heavy. There was one year that the calendar was all made out of cardstock and paper, and it was very heavy. So my husband had to jimmy rig up something to actually hold it up for my mother-in-law. So I'm just going to use my bone folder and crease these little pieces, and I'm going to add them with liquid glue, I think. Okay, and I am just going to set a block on top of this for a few seconds to dry. I'm going to add my twine to the top of my tag here. You could also use embellishing thread on here. So I'm just straightening out my twine. I'll pull it through my faux tag here. Once I add it to my page, I'll decide how long to trim off my tails. I don't really think I need very much. I just wanted something there so that the hole was not empty. There we go. Okay, so I'll add this yellow piece here to the bottom, the lemonade again. So this is also a great idea to do if you want that layered look in your regular scrapbooking, but you don't want to add a lot of bulk underneath. You don't actually need a piece of paper that fits underneath here to get this little mat that's kind of sticking out. You could simply cut 2 thin pieces and make like a faux mat there. So I'm just going to add this red one, and I think I'm going to pop this up on thin 3D foam tape. I have not used a lot of thick foam tape on this project. I do love using thick foam tape in my regular projects for dimension, but because this is a calendar that she's going to hang, I don't want there to be tons and tons of bulk between the pages, but a little bit is okay with me. So there we go. Just overlapping it a little bit. I'll add this little piece over here. Add my title in here. And it just kind of nestles right in here beside the star, above the title, for the stars part. I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of thin 3D foam tape to my star. You could totally add it flat. Okay, I'm just going to add a little adhesive to my tag here and tuck it in. And then I can trim off these tails to the length I want, and I'll just use my piercing tool and pull the threads out. If I felt I needed to, I could tack those down with like a glue dot, but I kind of like the little whimsy there. So these kind of overlap here, so I'm going to add this lagoon circle flat on my page. And because I will have to add journaling onto this little red tab, I'm not going to pop that up with 3D foam tape, but you totally could. And I'm just kind of using it to connect all these pieces here, adding the red star. So now I just have my stickers left, and the little black bursts. So I will add the stickers in here, and then I'll add the bursts into all of the clusters. So and I picked the bursts because there's lots of little round accent elements on here. So I thought it kind of played up the circular element, right? There's the circle here. There's these circles here. Okay. The circle on the camera. So I'm just going to, like I said, add a few of these in, and then we're going to call this one done. So these do have a little glue dot on the back, so I'm just going to use my piercing tool and pick up a few and add them into the clusters. So they just stick right down. And there's a little tiny hole in the middle, and I'm just going to cover that hole with just a bitty sparkle. Just add a little bit of shine to this, because there's lots of glitter on lots of the other pages, just with that I've added with shimmer brush, etc. So these little bitty sparkles are just kind of the perfect size to add. This one keeps jumping around. Right on top of the center. So it kind of just finishes off. I will lift that up so you can see. It just kind of nicely finishes off that little black burst. So I can move this out of the way. The sparkles are a little bit too big to do something like this. They take up quite a lot of space on the black burst, but these are kind of just perfect. The two, like a sparkle and a bitty sparkle, are really nice in combination too. So I could have added some clear sparkles on here to play off of the bitty sparkles. But the two of them are fun to add on a project together, right? Because it plays nicely with the two different sizes. Okay, so this one is done, my friends. So we'll just go over the page. So like I said, this is page number 8. There are process videos for all of the pages along the way on my YouTube channel. And then on top of that, there is actually also a blog post for each layout. So I've been adding photographs, still photographs onto my blog after, with also then the links back to YouTube. And there is a full playlist. I'm adding these each into a playlist. So if you want to follow along, you are more than welcome to. So thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying this whole process. Here are some still photos of the finished layout.